Welcome to Just Ranked.
I knew it.
I know you knew it, baby. You're my brother. Say hi to Dink, Jimmy, and Chris. I'm, of course, Joe. This is Just Ranked. You know what we do. We like to pick our top 4 of that week's subject. We're not going to get there yet because we got some house cleaning to do first. Coming up, we haven't done this before. Episode 49, which will be the second to last show of 2025, will be our 2025 year-end extravaganza, even though it's not our last show of the year. So check that out. We'll be picking our top 4 songs of the year. And then to close out season 1 in 2025, we'll have our big, giant 14-hour-long Prince episode.
Oh, man.
We'll be ending 2025 on a high note.
Season 1.
Season 1, there'll be 50 episodes. I mean, guys, think about that. Most podcasts don't do 50 episodes in a year, and we'll be doing 50. We don't take a week off. We have too much fun doing this. But if I haven't told you before already, go to justrankpod.com and check out over our socials, over our links, all that giggly miggly. Make sure you click subscribe and click the big bell and like ACDC, right? But this week's topic is very cool and close to my heart. It's favorite living guitarists. What does that mean? What does that mean?
What does that mean?
That means, let me read my little intro here. In every era, a few guitarists rise above the rest. Players who don't just master the instrument, but define it and redefine it. Today, we're focusing on the great living guitarists, the innovators, the trailblazers, and the quiet geniuses who still shop for the sound of modern music. From blues to metal, jazz to experimental rock, these artists prove that a guitarist's voice remains as vital and as expressive as ever. In this episode, we'll explore the influence, the techniques, and we'll make them stand out in a world of music constantly evolves. This is a story of the modern masters still alive, still creating, still inspiring our living guitarists. Dink, you're going to start it off, man. This is going to be a great episode. Can't wait. You are the first.
Okay. So I'm trying something new tonight. Well, I tried it a little bit with Michael Jackson, but I have 0 notes.
Ooh,
I decided I wasn't going to research. I wasn't going to get a bunch of mumbo jumbo on technique. Of course, it would be cool to have their backstory, where they're from, blah, 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 blah. I picked 4 guitarists from bands that I love. And they're all fairly well known, maybe not so much my first guy, but the other 3 are fairly well known to you guys. Number 4 is my shirt. Number 4 is Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest. Yes, Priest had the dual guitarists. KK is now gone, but for many, many years had 2 guitarists, much like Maiden and some other bands, Rat. Glenn is the superior guitarist, in my opinion, or my favorite anyway. Glenn, 2 N.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like I said, I don't have a lot of shit to babble on about. I love the Sentinel that he is predominantly the player on. Many Priest songs I could rattle off. He's been a member of Priest for decades. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's it. Tight red leather pants. Glenn Tipton.
Right?
That's it. That's my segment's going to be short. I don't want to talk about, like I said, about playing the guitar because I don't. I know we have a guitar aficionado in the bunch here. So
Chris?
It would be Chris, yes. It would be foolish for me to ramble on about the way Glenn slides or the way he fingers or does other things.
His wife would know about that.
Well, yeah.
Well, I guess I have my first question. Is he an OG member?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
I don't, but I think so, yeah. I think that all those guys from early on, like and we've talked about them all, right?
Yeah.
Dave,
the main 5, yeah.
KK, Rob, Uncle. Who was the guy that said looks like everybody's uncle?
I forgot about that. It was so true.
Well, Ian Hill and Dave Holland. Yeah. Dave Holland looks like everybody's uncle who chain smokes in the
so
garage.
true.
I think that those guys, maybe I should look. I think those
you're
guys
right.
are all the original guys
You're right, yeah.
from the 70s, right?
I envision him with a carburetor in his hand.
Right. And it's true, though, right? Like Rob was doing his own thing, clearly, that nobody really caught on to. Those Ian Hill and Dave looked like a couple of old uncles, and then KK and Glenn had the feathered hair and were rocking out at front stage, right? So, but no, I love Glenn Tipton. I love Priest's guitar work, and both of them together were dynamite. But Glenn always stood out. So I decided, like I said, to go with bands that I really love. And because this was so wide open, obviously we took out a bunch of good ones with the death part. So then you can narrow your search, but there's still a ton of living guitarists. So
absolutely.
Yeah. That's my number 4.
And if you wanted to get into it, like the tons of guitarists you could go down, jazz, blues, rock.
Yeah, they don't have
like,
to be from a band. I just went that way.
I'd need a couple of months. If you wanted me to pick the best, you'd need like 6 months to research. You know what I mean? Yeah. Guitarists I've never heard of before, right?
Yeah, and I didn't want to start going down that rabbit hole.
I had to stick with people I knew, which is I don't know Judas Priest enough to appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, but I don't. Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
No, I was just going to say you couldn't pick a better duo that really played in sync with one another and really almost so well. They almost feel like the same guitarist because they were so well together, you know, and it's hard to do. People don't understand how hard it is to do to collaborate with another guitarist and cast those egos aside and kind of be in one direction.
Right. Their tones kind of melded into each other. So I guess the unknowing listener might not notice the difference between the two, which I couldn't tell the solos apart from their styles. I had about a 10-year time period where I was into Priest, Defenders of Faith, Screaming for Vengeance, Turbo, Ram It Down. That time period there, I really, really liked them a lot. But they just kind of, I guess, naturally fell away. It's not that I stopped listening to them. They just other bands kind of filled a void, and they just kind of fell away.
Change, revolve. Yep.
I really, really did enjoy Judas Priest and that Priest live, the Brown album with the fingers, and that was awesome. Out in the Cold, I think I talked about Out in the Cold on another episode. I love that song, those leads and that, and I don't know if that's KK or Tipton, but yeah, I like this pick.
It's Tipton. Okay, so I just looked. Ian Hill is an original. Glenn joined the band in 74, and the band's been around since 69, 70. In fact, Al Atkins was the lead vocalist from 69 to 73. I don't think Priest was really known until Halford took over.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
So, I always forget how long ago they started. Was actually in the late 60s. I keep forgetting.
So if you look at it that way, I would say that Tipton and KK was there since 70 till he left in 2011.
Okay.
Tipton came in the year after Halford. So that core that I mentioned was the original core.
I was going to say that's the most famous core.
Yes.
Yeah. And Dave Holland actually came in 79, so he was a few years behind. So that was information.
Well, he was working on his truck.
He might have been in the garage.
Doing brake jobs for everybody. It's the only who went for the brake jobs.
It's just bloody needle bab.
Rest in peace, Dave.
Hey, real quick before you move on to your second one, what's the over/under on samesies on this episode?
Ooh,
1.
I was gonna say 1 to be safe because like $1 on Price is Right.
I'm gonna bid $1.
$1.
I'm gonna say 2 because
I'm gonna say 2 though because I think there's 2 that maybe 2. I'll go 2.
Christy said 2 when she was walking by.
Oh, okay. The fifth Beatle.
She doesn't even know the topic, but she said 2.
2, okay.
She's a wise woman.
Yes.
Trust her.
Okay, my number 3 is basic bitch.
Basic bitch.
Couldn't have this list and not have this guy on it. You guys probably avoided this guy because it is so basic, but my number 3 is Jimmy Page. I don't know. I love Zeppelin.
Yeah.
How do you not have a guitarist list with you can't have the other Jimmy on there because he's dead. So I'll have this Jimmy.
I'll say it, gents. Cheers.
Oh, well, we've hit the first.
There's our one.
Right, and I think my next one could be a samey for Joe too. But anyway, like, you want me to rattle off 17 Zeppelin songs that all are awesome that feature Jimmy? No, I'm not going to do that. I love Jimmy Page. I loved him with Zeppelin. I loved him with Coverdale. I love anything he's ever done. I love the way he plays, and I like acoustic stuff. So I like when he rocks, but I like when he plays the acoustic guitar. Yeah.
I love this pick for obvious reasons. Like I said, he's in my list, but I would just say when you hear him talk, especially when he's younger, he just seemed like he was like a kid experimenting. Like, ooh, here's this thing. Can do this? Can do this? Was never really any ego. We know there's egos in the band.
Yeah.
But when he's talking, he just seems like he was a kid exploring a new toy all the time. And I will say this, he's one of those guitarists. You can't have the guitarist in the 80s and later after that without having him. You just
right.
I mean, Eddie Van Halen. You couldn't have Eddie Van Halen without Jimmy Page.
Nope.
Right.
Not.
Right. I think he paved the way for so many guys, right? Like, and it's funny to me, like, people that are so Zeppelin fans, Robert gets a lot of credit, and because I don't think they really listen.
He's the front man. Of course, he gets all the credit.
Yeah, he gets like a lot of bands. He gets the credit, right? Oh yeah, Robert playing's awesome. I'm like, yeah, but the guitar's wicked. The drums are phenomenal. Are you incredible? Are you fucking listening to the music? You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can't cut out John Paul Jones in that.
No, I know exactly.
No.
This is great, right? Like, anyway.
There was a time, Dink, do you remember I didn't really enjoy Zeppelin? I was going to sell you the box set that I remember.
Blasphemy.
And it was, you're right. And it was because I wasn't listening to the music.
Yeah.
I was just,
you were hearing
really not paying attention to what was going on.
I'm not fooling. That's all you were hearing.
And then I saw the error of my ways. And
there was a period of time, and I think it was my senior year of high school. I say senior because I was like one semester and you kicked me out. But
3 years.
But all me and my friends listened to were Prince, The Cure, Pink Floyd, and Led Zeppelin. That's all we listened to.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 4 basic food groups.
Constantly, all the time. That's all we ever listened to.
Some good weed.
That sounds like a great weekend, man.
A lot of good acid. That was the problem. A lot of good LSD.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's some good acid.
Well, this pick is really close to my heart. I didn't put him on my list, not because I thought you guys would, but I know that we're going to be doing a Zeppelin show.
Well, that's why
in the relative near future. I don't want to put a number on what episode it may or may not be. I want to save my nuggets of truth for that episode, so I purposefully negated Jimmy Page, and with great pain I did. So
and that's why I have no notes, because I'll talk. Well, he'll be talked about in great length when we do that episode. They all will, right?
Plus of course. So, yep. And also too, there's one thing that there's always that line I approach every episode. I'm sure we all do. Is like, oh, okay, we've already talked about this artist or this musician so many times. Do I leave them out? Or we just had a show about them. Then that's always a no for me. Jimmy Page for me was like, I thought about for a split second. I'm like, nope, because everyone else on my list would exist without him.
And that's I couldn't either.
That's where I was at. And I totally get if you don't agree with that. That's completely understandable as well, because again, it's not the last time we ever talk about this guy ever. Right.
Right.
And I'm so glad that you put him on here so we get to talk about him. So that kind of fills my heart a little bit.
Right. And you said close to your heart. For me, he's close to my back because he's right there on the wall.
I see that.
There he is.
When I look at these 4, they're all on the wall.
Ooh. Wait,
so
didn't play.
You can't see it because it's behind my computer, but there's a Priest poster on the wall. And my next guy, there's a Rumors album on the wall here.
Ooh.
So my next guy is old Crazy Hair, Crazy Fingers, Lindsey Buckingham.
Yeah, there we go. There we
Could
go.
not have him on there. I know we've talked about him a lot too. Fuck, we did
Yep.
a Fleetwood Mac episode, did we not?
One of my favorites. Yes.
Yep.
Please go back and watch. We could use those numbers, please.
You know, we've done a few episodes when we're like, did we do them already?
Right.
Dude, it's pretty impressive. Like I said, for a new show, doing a show every week consistently, plus now all of our after shows and our monthly show with Queued Up. It's pretty cool, man. I love it.
Cool. But yeah,
I just, and not to go down our own, like patting ourselves on the back. I appreciate you guys giving me your time as well to do this. So,
yeah.
Well, the check's in the mail or the bill's in the mail. You bill me. Bill me. I like that.
I'll send you a bill.
I don't know what you want to say about Lindsay. We
Well,
can talk about your song you guys love, Big Love. We can talk about my number one, Never Going Back Again. He's fucking got his fingerprints all over the really good Fleetwood Mac, right? Plus his solo stuff. Holy shit.
He's like your first pick. You could take the lyrics and the singer out and just leave the music and his guitar playing, and it'd be perfect instrumental music.
Beautiful.
Be beautiful.
And the fact that he took an old style of finger picking and turned it into his own style. The style he plays in is called a Travis pick, using all your fingers. But he does like a double clutch, like multiple strings, plucking multiple strings at the same time, which is not a Travis pick, which is basically a Lindsay picking style. And I adore his guitar work.
Yep, and that's why when you listen to any, whether it's his solo stuff or Fleetwood Mac, you know it's Lindsay playing guitar.
Yeah,
every single fucking time.
Right.
I don't care if it's a heavier song like they might have or a ballady song. You know that's Lindsay playing guitar.
And
And
he's got a tremendous voice. You throw that on top of it, it's
right.
Right?
Yeah.
And wasn't it brought up in the show that they needed two guitarists to replace him when he wasn't in the band?
Yep.
And that's saying a lot because the two guys that replaced him for a
they
little
weren't
bit,
schmoes.
No,
it was Mike Campbell and Neil Finn, was it not?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and Neil Finn from Crowded House. Like, well,
Schlubs.
yeah.
I don't know where that came from. Just fucking
fucking schlubs. Right.
That's
Mike
a great
Campbell's
pick.
awesome.
I love it.
Right. Anyway, so number one shouldn't be a big surprise. Also on the wall over there, and it is Steve Lukather.
Maria Frederick.
I knew this was coming. I knew it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I profess my love for this guy. I love the way he plays. I love the way he talks. I love the way he sings. I love his interviews. I love everything about this guy. I think he's down to earth. He's cool. Anyone that doesn't know that he was a session musician has been living under a rock, but doesn't know that he was in Toto. He's got solo work. Other than Eddie, he's the main guitarist on the Thriller album. Yeah. Does the solo in Running with the Knife for Lionel Richie. He's played on so many fucking albums. It's unbelievable.
Thousands of songs. Literally.
Yeah, songs you probably love, and you're like, didn't know who the guitarist was because unless you read the liner notes, you know what I mean?
Doing this show with you has opened my eyes to how much he actually plays on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so much, right? Like, and that's no different. You're no different than so many other people that don't know. And I always get really mad at those guitarist lists, and then I always try to check myself because I don't play guitar. All the things I said early on, so there's no point me trying to explain the guitar. But when I see those lists and Luke's not on those lists, I think it's a travesty, right? Like top 100 fucking guitarists of all time, and they have all these fucking old guys no one's ever heard of. And sure, maybe they paved the way before Hendrix, like who knows? But I'm like, Luke can't even get in there like 80 for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
Yet everybody wanted to hire him.
And I want to clear the air that as far as this term of favorite guitarist, it literally is, in my mind, even as a guitarist, I don't even take it as for ability. I take guitarists as people who can write a good fucking song or a good fucking riff.
Right.
I agree.
Because you know what? There's a billion guys who can play 1,000 notes in a second and have Jimmy and I play with these guys, but you try to ask them to write anything original, it's all fucking scales or whatever it may be. Boring. But so for me, There's the old adage way back in the day. Somebody had asked Steve Vai, it's like, what's like being the greatest guitarist ever? He's like, I'm not the greatest guitarist. It's some guy in his fucking basement. It's always somebody next. And now with the days of obviously we have YouTube and social media. There's a billion great guitarists out there. They can play anything they want to and play a bazillion notes or all they want. But can they write a really good riff and a really good song?
Right? Can they give you an orgasm? Can they make love to your ear? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like as creepy as that sounds.
Well, no, that's 100%. Yep.
I'd like to give an example. Joe knows the two guitar players I'm talking about. I won't say them by name. In my band, I had the most technical virtuoso guitar player. Amazing guitar player. And then
he could play a song just by sightlining it and somebody turning the page on the music book for me. He could play it perfectly.
Right.
Wow.
And then my other guitar player was a virtuoso as well, but he had the most feel and touch and brought emotion to it, where the other one, amazing, loved playing with him. The other one, I played with him in several bands. Just these two guitar players were worlds apart, but when they came together, it was just this beautiful symphony. It was amazing. Wouldn't you agree, Joe?
Was it?
Wouldn't you agree that those?
Oh, that's who I was referencing for my playing scales.
Okay.
Writing things. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. I guess it's hard to write good music, and then that's where the real talent should come to. Do you remember the song after it ends? Do you remember the melody? Do you remember the guitar line? Do you remember the drums? Do you remember anything about it? Do you remember the sound of? Did anything catch your ear?
Did it hit you? Did it give you this?
Yeah, and that for me, my entire floor for the songs from those bands, or Luke from a bunch of stuff. Yeah. It stands out, right? It's memorable to me. So that's why this was an easy list, actually. I rattled it off in 10 minutes and then thought of some other guys and thought, no, I'm not changing my list.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, the fact you say, well, I'm not a guitarist, because a lot of times people are like, oh, you're a guitarist, and they want to talk to me about guitar. And I'll ask them, well, what's your favorite guitarist? And like, oh, I don't play guitar. I was like, no, what do you like?
What do you like, right?
Right.
What turns you on? What makes you turn that music on?
Right.
What's memorable to you? That's the hard part. I mean, we can talk wax forever about Jimmy Page, but he's useless if he can't write a fucking song, right?
Right.
I mean,
and wasn't it, Joe, you said before, like a lot of people give oh my god, now I can't think of his name, from U2.
Yeah, I was going to use that.
Yeah.
Right? Like he might not be the most technically or the best, but he's got a sound, and that is legendary in itself, right?
Signature sound, right?
Yep.
Right.
Well,
so you can argue that he's a legend, right?
Yeah.
You can argue, right?
Exactly.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's a really famous, I think it's like an hour-long video of Jimmy Page, The Edge, and Jack White playing.
Oh yeah.
I've watched that. Yeah, on YouTube. Absolutely.
It's so fucking cool, because it's three different worlds converging. Both of the other two, the Edge and Jack White, are going nom nom to Jimmy Page most of the time. But it's really cool to see
absolutely
the convergence of the different styles coming together and them just celebrating each other and loving it. So
and how in awe they are of each other too when they do stuff.
Yep.
It's very cool to see.
Funny you say him, and I don't want to say too many names but I don't think you'll. I thought about him when I did do a side list. No, I'm not putting anybody else on. But Jack was on the list. John Mayer was on the list. Like a bunch of other more recent people. And I was like, no, these are my fucking guys. So.
Yep.
At least one of those is our host's pick. But anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
is it on the
we'll pass it on then, Jimmy. It's all you.
All right.
From my Jimmy to this Jimmy.
I just realized your name, the famous Picasso brother.
Look, I didn't even change my name.
Hey,
I didn't. Yeah,
Joe, did you change your name?
I didn't change my name. I forgot.
No, I added my name.
Well, on with the show. So
No
some
reference to
people
the
don't realize we record multiple shows in one night.
I'm much drunker now than I was before.
So All right. So I went at this list a little differently. In the last handful of episodes, you can tell that I've been listening to a certain style of music. You will know with my list here. Joe mentioned something about people shredding and if they can't write a song. Well, mine are all shredders. So that's why I threw the list over my shoulder.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
So,
Nothing wrong with that.
my number 4, I love and I hate this guy. I'll give you an example. I saw this guy at the Iron Horse Saloon in Minneapolis with my guitar player, Adam. We were there a half hour and I think we've seen enough, and we left. Just amazing. Virtuoso. He gets slammed on. He gets dunked on a lot. His name is Yngwie Malmsteen. What I love of his, I love. What I hate of his, I hate. But he is just an amazing guitar player.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no getting around it. The neoclassical guitar playing, he took it to a new level. He took classical music and turned it into metal.
Yeah. Single-handedly, yeah.
Absolutely. And he influenced, I would say, in my opinion, about 90% of the shredders out there, the early form of shredders.
Yeah, easily. Yep, he did.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite song by Yngwie Malmsteen is Crystal Ball from 1988 off the Odyssey album. Joe Lynn Turner on this album is just amazing, but his playing, he actually downplayed on this album compared to Rising Force and some of the other albums.
Yeah.
What I like about him is the tone that he has out of a Fender Stratocaster. It's not super customized except for his neck. And Joe, I need your help. Why are the frets scalloped or the fingering scalloped? What's the point of that?
It's actually, when you're that high up, it's harder to hit it's harder to really grab onto the strings. When you're scalloped, you can easily grab those strings.
Dig in.
Yep. The downside is if you grab too hard, they're going to go out of tune.
Okay.
But he's really also, you bring that up, he's the first one to really start grasping onto the scalloped guitar neck.
So I'll explain that real quick. The neck of the guitar has the little spots where you put your fingers, the little metal parts of the frets. The wood inlays in between are flat or a little curved.
Yeah.
Scallop, they dig it out so it's like a trench in between the frets. So,
okay.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoy what I like about Yngwie Malmsteen. It's kind of a contradictory term about I love and hate him, but just he's really cool. He can really, really go nuts on blues, but he always pulls it into that neoclassical.
He does, yeah.
Just beautiful. If you like classical music, then I think you'll like.
That's true. I think that's true. Yeah,
I think that you'll like Yngwie Malmsteen. So that's my number 4.
That's a good pick, man. I have two things. Unrelated. You said love hate, and my mind immediately went to Disney.
Jizzy Pearl.
Yay!
And secondly, I like my potatoes scalloped.
Nice.
I will say this. I saw this coming. I saw this pick coming. Not to sound like Jimmy, but I saw this pick coming, and it doesn't surprise me at all. And also, even though I'm not a huge fan of Yngwie, to this day, at him being 62 years old, other guitarists like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani are in awe of him. Still, at this day.
Yeah, and that says so much, right? Like the guys that are already greats.
He's again
another great, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
he's a guitarist. He really is. I mean, he again being a pioneer of what he did, and not only physically on the guitar, but also technically with the guitar as well.
Did you,
Jimmy?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was coughing.
You die.
Did you see the interview with him and Rick Beato?
Yeah,
he was talking about Eddie Van Halen and how Eddie Van Halen blew his mind, and he had to work twice as hard to
that's cool.
Get his name out there and to his own name out there and to be heard past Eddie Van Halen, and was at 78. Van Halen 1. So all of a sudden 78 comes. He's like, fuck, I got to bust my ass. I got to really dig in to be seen past this new god of guitar.
Right.
And I'll give him credit just on a personal note. He used to be kind of fucking crazy.
Kind of.
I thought that's what I thought. He was a
To the
little
point where he pulled a shotgun on his mother-in-law or something.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought.
Oh yeah, he was.
Or his wife
he
or
was-
something. Yeah.
I will say this: in the late '80s, he was like the most egotistical of anything of anybody ever. Like he made a rip on Steve Vai, like, "Oh, Steve Vai could be a good guitarist if he could stay in tune," stuff like that. And he's not a great guy. And it turns out you can teach an old dog new tricks because he's become a better human being over the years.
Very humbled now.
Very humbled now.
Yeah.
And he's learned from his mistakes. And not too many musicians we've talked about in the 40 some odd episodes we've done this can learn from their mistakes, right? I mean,
right. Yeah.
And actually talk about how you made those mistakes and how he's wrong, So yeah, I mean, not only like on a technical side, but also on a human side too. He made strides back. Good pick.
Good pick, man.
All right. So
also another artist we wouldn't get a chance to talk about either. So
that's also another reason the picks that I have is because
I
probably would never be able to talk about these guys.
Yep.
So I really wanted to put focus on them.
Yeah.
Especially one of them is gonna blow your mind. But number 3, this is one of the ones that I think that Joe and I might have the same. He started out in a shredder group. Him and I think it's Bruce Boulez is the other guitar player. And it's a little band called Racer X. And when Racer X broke up, they formed Mr. Big. I am a huge fan of Mr. Paul Gilbert.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that he's a big, giant dork and a nerd and he's into Star Wars.
Embraces it too.
He absolutely does. And for fun, he will learn a new style of guitar just for shits.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. So I have a couple little quips about him real quick. Guitar One magazine, I've never heard of this magazine, rates him in the top 10 greatest guitar shredders of all time. Guitar World rates him in the top 50 fastest guitar players of all time.
Wow. Okay.
Loudwire, this is the fun one. Loudwire calls him one of the top 10 stupidly fast guitar players in metal.
That's great.
Well, is that when he's using his drill? Because that's cheating.
Yeah,
that's cheating.
Yeah. I really love his style. He's a shredder, but he has an emotion tied to a melody with his shredding. He's not all about super playing fast. I mean, he does that, but he also has a melodic feel, as you can only do with Mr. Big. If you listen to their music, it's a lot of melody, with just beautiful solos and beautiful leads.
Yep.
My favorite song was their first single, "Addicted to That Rush," off of Mr. Big in 1989. And just so you guys, Joe, you may know this, right? But that album covers a top hat with 2 worn shoes. Billy Sheehan still owns that hat and shoes and keeps it right above his bass rig, so he can see it every single day. So yeah, Mr. Big's Paul Gilbert is my number 3.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
I thought you would have him as well, and we had a conversation. Gina looked at my list. She goes, "Where's Paul Gilbert?" Because my wife is she might be Mr. Big's biggest fan.
Wow. I'll fight her.
And she, well, she's Italian. I'm going to put the odds on her. She knows people. I would, and so Paul is up there in my list. He really is. And like I said, we were talking about like with Steve Lukather. Paul Gilbert's a great interview. He's very, very knowledgeable. I was just watching a Wolfgang Van Halen interview yesterday. And he was talking about, well, your dad's the best guitarist ever to live. What was he like to give you, guitar instruction? He's like, my dad was a horrible teacher. In fact, he was the first one to say, he was a horrible teacher. And so he goes, he was so distraught about not being able to teach me how to play guitar. He called Paul Gilbert and said, hey, can you give Wolfie some guitar lessons? And Paul
Wow.
Gilbert was like, seriously? Isn't that your job? And he's like, no, I suck at it. So that tells you what, when Eddie Van Halen figured out he wasn't a very good guitar teacher, the first person he called was Paul Gilbert. So
Yeah, that speaks volumes, right?
yeah.
Well, respect from like talent like that makes you a legend just on that alone, right? Other artists loving you or respecting you, like that's going to come into play in mine. Other artists' thoughts of you makes you a legend of a type, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly. And Jimmy, I will challenge you. Actually, any four of you guys, but Jimmy, since you're a big Gilbert fan, his solo album from I had to look it up, 2006, The Echo Song. So fucking good. If you like Paul Gilbert, you'll love The Echo Song.
So, number 2, I adore this guitar player. His name is Russ Parrish. Do you know that name?
I know the name.
He goes by another stage name called Satchel. Satchel or Russ Parrish. He was a friend of Paul Gilbert's. In fact, when Paul Gilbert went away on tour for Mr. Big, the first tour, he was living in Paul Gilbert's house and was watching his dogs and using his studio to perfect himself. And he worked with War and Peace, which is Jeff Pilsen's side project.
Yeah.
And he also worked with an offshoot of Racer X called Bad Dog. It was basically Racer X, but all interchangeable, friends and family that came in and did this stuff. But he was, I believe he was working at a store, some sort of mega store, Best Buy, whatever, making ends meet. And he met Rob Halford. And Rob Halford had heard of his playing through another friend of a friend type thing. And Rob Halford had just left Judas Priest, and he formed a band called Fight. And he said, well, why don't you come and jam with us, see if, everyone fits. And he fit amazingly. And this guitar playing on this the second Fight album, War of Words, A Little Crazy is my favorite song on that album, and it's just amazing. Now, after that fell apart for all sorts of different reasons, he was in a fictional band because he was also an actor for I think it was I didn't write it down. I want to say it was like a Pit Stick commercial, and the band was called Danger. Yeah. Menin, Old Spice, something like that.
I haven't heard it called that in years.
The fictional band was called Danger Kitty, and it was they were just kind of a lark thing that they were doing. But all the actors in Danger Kitty were real musicians, and they decided to actually start recording under the name Metal School. Metal School started getting a little LA following, and Metal School, apparently there was another band maybe in Europe with the name, so they had to change their name. And they changed their name to Steel Panther.
Oh!
Steel Panther's guitar player, and his real name is Russ Parrish, and he is a phenom. He was schooled in the Paul Gilbert School, and just amazing. If anyone can get past the silliness of Steel Panther, the musicianship is actually pretty awesome.
Yeah, they are silly, right? But
so Russ Parrish is my number 2.
That is unexpected, but he is a very, very good guitarist. That being said, I thought you were going to bring in the fact the Fight was, the band you brought up with Rob Halford. We also have another tie into that with the other guitarist, Mark Chaussee. Yes, who was in a Minneapolis band called Coup de Grace.
Yes,
kind of had a big. They're going to be the next big thing coming out of Minneapolis, and that didn't happen. But he also Mark Chaussee that we knew joined Rob Halford's Fight as well. So yeah, great pick, man.
Split when Rob went back to Priest, or
Yes.
Yeah, numerous reasons, but
Yeah, they did 2 albums, and then he went back to Priest.
Yep.
And then that was what was it was like a flaming motorcycle.
yeah, fuck.
Anyway, Scott Travis, the drummer on that album. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Yep.
Wow. But Scott Travis is also in Fight.
Yep.
So
Yeah. But yeah, Satchel again, kind of like we talked about in the Motley Crue episode. These guys don't get their due as how good of musicians they are just because they literally are come off as a joke band.
yeah,
but they are very, very good musicians.
Yeah,
I want to say I'm paying attention, I'm listening, but I don't know who they are.
that's fine. Have you heard of Steel Panther before?
Maybe, but I don't know that I can.
Saw one of their
If I
videos,
listen to some of the-
you would recognize them, right?
Probably, yeah.
they
But right
look
now, I can't. I'm not being able to recall anything right now.
Yeah,
Their big song is "Dead Hooker."
Yeah. And they look like a 1983 band. They look like they dress up like Van Halen. That's kind of their inspiration.
That actually does sound a little familiar.
like a modern day Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a perfect reference. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because their breakthrough album, they were got really kind of famous with Hole Patrol. Yeah.
Much like Smell the Glove.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so moving on to my number 1. This is another virtuoso shredder, speed demon that has a really sad story. This is the other person that I thought Joe might have. This is Jason Becker. Jason Becker started out at the age of 16 in a band with Marty Friedman called Cacophony. Just an amazing technical, melodic, bluesy, could play anything proficiently and beautifully. In 1990, he was diagnosed with ALS, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig's disease.
Yeah.
And the shredding lifestyle kind of came to an end, so the Cacophony band kind of split up. Marty Friedman later went on to play with Megadeth and be a Japanese superstar currently. But Jason Becker still had it in him to play, and kind of an unknown singer, David Lee Roth, picked him up for an album called Little Ain't Enough, and just fucking kills it. He can't hear for that album. He couldn't quite shred, but he could still play better than 99% of the people around him.
Right.
In 1996, he lost his ability to speak. He was given a 3 to 5 year life expectancy. He is still writing music, composing them with his eyes, with the device that his father built for him. He released a composition album in 2018 called Triumphant Hearts. He doesn't play a note, but he composed everything with his eyeballs because he can't walk, he can't talk, he can't stand, but his mind is as sharp as an eagle.
Yeah,
Isn't that
Jason Becker. One of
awesome and sad at the same time? Right?
absolutely.
Right.
That's why I had to put him on this list.
Yeah.
In fact,
That's
that's
what
why.
a guy that plays loses his ability to play. Like fuck. Yet still manages to play or write music. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
Right.
One sense is lost and another one's heightened.
Right.
I had to look this up while you're talking. So in 2012, his dad did a self-produced documentary about Jason called "Not Dead Yet."
Not dead yet. I have that written down and I forgot to talk about it. I want to see it.
So it's great because the album you talked about where he had a compilation album, it's guitarists like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai who are playing these guitar parts for him. But like Jimmy was saying, his dad created the technology for the camera to follow his eyes to be able to write his music and control the computer.
Before that technology was even invented, his father.
So he was 20 when he got diagnosed, right? 20?
1990 is when he was diagnosed. So I don't know the age. He was.
He is
16.
now 56 years old. The average lifespan after being diagnosed with ALS is 2 to 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So they gave him 3 to 5, like later after his diagnosis, or right out of his diagnosis?
After you get diagnosed, it's 2 to 5 years of your lifespan. He's now been over 30 years.
Unbelievable.
And his parents and his family have always attributed the fact he's never stopped being creative. He never stopped living. He's got a very, 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 very good support system. His entire family supports everything he does.
Yep.
He's never stopped creating. He's got a bunch of albums under his belt. It's an amazing. It's like Jimmy's saying. The first part of the story is he joined the DLR band. He essentially replaced Steve Vai when Steve Vai and those guys left, right? And it was
in great fashion.
Great album. It was a great album.
Did it very well.
Very, very well. But in the middle of that recording session, he's had a problem standing. So he had to do a lot of that recording sitting down. And then unfortunately he couldn't tour with the band. And then now 30 some odd years later, he's still alive and kicking. Not dead yet, as the documentary in 2012 was called, and still producing music, still living his life as best as he can.
Cool part of that story is after recording was done, he couldn't go on tour.
Yeah.
One of his best friends, musician friends, Joe Holmes,
took
over for him on the David Lee Roth tours for I think 3 or 4 tours after that.
Yep. Yeah, because he was part of the DLR band. Yeah.
Just heartwarming.
So as much as you want to feel bad, oh, he's got ALS. That sucks. There's no way to get around that, right? But the fact he's been able to, he's lived almost.
What an inspiring story, though.
And he's lived a better life with his. He's done more with his life with his limitations than most people have.
Yeah. And I woke up with a swollen ankle today and was crying about it all day long.
and honestly, the story. I mean, his playing is fucking top notch.
Yeah.
Or was top notch. No disrespect meant by that.
Right.
Because he was very technically proficient, but he had like a blues underlane to his playing too. Yeah.
Yep. And the reason he's number one on this list is because of that story.
Yeah, great.
Also,
Absolutely.
one of his another one of his close friends started to become a phenom, and something fell apart. Blues Saraceno.
Oh yeah.
Was another one of his friends. He played in Poison. He put a bunch of instrumental albums out. But yeah,
I actually really just like 2 months ago I looked him up because like I remembered him. I don't know why he came into my mind.
Saraceno.
I listened to the Plaid album. That was his first album. Was the Plaid album, and it still kind of holds up. There's some pretty good stuff on there. It's only got like 6 songs on it, but it's a good listen. Louis Saraceno, yeah. I just literally listened to that album like 2 months ago. And I haven't listened to it for like 30 years.
No, I owned it at one point. Yeah,
so did I. Yeah.
All right, so that's my list. I'm going to pass it off to Creamy Wrists. I mean, Crispy Riffs.
Good list, man. Good list.
I think it's Creamy Wrists. I'm Crispy Riffs. All right, so I felt a little weird doing Guitar Legends when I don't know how to play guitar, but and also like there's such a huge list of people, but
it's endless.
I didn't feel comfortable, so I kind of stayed away from Zeppelin. Same as the reason other people did. I kind of stuck with what I usually do, what I listen to, what I know, what I like.
Yeah.
And guys that were, or not just guys, musicians that were influential in my listening, stuff I like to listen to still. So I have a couple of more classic guys and a couple more recent, and one that I actually wasn't going to put on until I did some research, and I'm like, is it worth it? I do have a couple of repeats from other lists too. So anyways, I'm just going to get into it. My number 4 is Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine.
I had a feeling.
Just when the first time I heard Rage was 93 Lollapalooza live.
Yeah.
And I think the next day when I bought I think it was the cassette. But I'd never heard anybody play guitar like that.
Yeah,
I'd never heard noises like that, right? Like, just untraditional. The way he would like slap and use feedback, and songs like "And Take the Power Back" and the breakdown at the end, the sounds that he would make the guitar sound like, that almost sounds like a synthesizer at certain points, right? Like, I'd never heard anybody play the guitar like that.
Yeah.
When I did the research, I was doing a bunch of stuff, and where he's born and all that stuff. I like little weird, I don't know, odd trivia things. And one thing I noticed about my 4 picks, all artists, all have university degrees, all seem uber smart, all seem really intelligent people.
Common.
Seemed like they would have been excellent in whatever field they went into, but they decided to go into guitar and music, right?
Yeah.
He went to Harvard.
Thank you.
Right. But he went to Harvard, and while he was at Harvard, he was in a band.
At Harvard, yeah.
Honor Roll, it was called. Honor Roll in high school. Harvard board. Sorry, he was an honor roll student in high school. When he went to Harvard, he was in a band called Board of Education, BORED, Board of Education, and won the Ivy League Battle of the Bands in 1986. And the keyboardist for the band is now Nobel Prize chemist Carolyn Bertuzzi.
Oh, wow.
Which I find just kind of like a weird factoid, right? Just to see like kind of the kind of people he was hanging out with at the time. Just talk about another reason why I think he's a legend. He introduced Adam Jones to Maynard, and the reason Tool exists is because of basically Tom Morello, because him and Adam Jones went to school together, and they played in high school bands together. Yeah, which is kind of
Chicago.
Cool. Yep. But that's my number 4. I don't have a ton of notes, but I think it's kind of self-explanatory if you've ever heard the man play guitar.
Right. Yeah, I used to call him back in the day the DJ guitarist, because he could do things on the guitar you only hear from the DJ. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, just everything he did, he just had a different feel for the instrument I had never heard before. Like you were saying before, he's making noises from the guitar I've never heard anybody do ever.
Yeah. Absolutely. And one of the coolest radio shows on Sirius XM was, I think it was Saturday afternoons, him and his like 90-year-old mom would do songs, and she'd tell stories about remembering like meeting bands from the back in the 90s and stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I think we touched on another episode, his style change for Audio Slave. He showed that he could play a little more traditionally, less of those interesting sounds, but still distinct sound. You still know it's him.
Yep.
But it's not Rage. You know what I mean?
And he talked about that too. A lot of that was due to Chris's writing. But right. And he embraced the fact he was going to be
those different singers.
Those 3 guys from the same band were doing completely different music that sounds nothing like them.
Well,
and some of his influences, when I was doing research, it said that he liked to listen to BTO and Steve Miller Band. Like,
wow,
right.
And no disrespect to Randy Bachman at all, or Steve Miller, but that's what he listened to. That's not what he sounds like. He doesn't sound like them at all.
He said Zeppelin and Eddie Van Halen too, of course, right? Of course. Randy Rhoads influences, but like the BTO and the whatever, I don't know.
Steve Miller.
Steve Miller, that threw me off a little bit.
No, totally.
Well, we talk about nostalgia all the time. I'm going to set the mood for you. What happened to your brain when you first heard Bulls on Parade?
No fucking
right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like, what the fuck just happened?
Right.
I need to hear.
Where does that come from? Like, where do you get those ideas from?
In fact, I remember where I was when I first heard it. It was in my car. And it was Edge 102, that CFNY, the Spirit of Radio, that radio station. We were doing a midnight release, and we were driving around somewhere so we could listen to it. Because that's what you had to do back then, right?
You had to do, right.
I was a bartender at a huge nightclub in Arizona and called Club Rio. And they mix dance music with like new metal and whatnot all the time. And all of a sudden, dum 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 dum. I was like, "What is this? I'm liking this."
And, just spilled 3 drinks,
right? And I probably mixed a couple wrong drinks during that
Whatever.
And also way too strong.
Exactly. Oh, what's this, Malort? Okay.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
like that'd be like you'd be driving, you'd probably get a speeding ticket because you'd be fucking like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Right. And I remember seeing the new dance called the pogo, when it's just you're jumping up straight up.
Oh, that, yeah.
It's like no
Um,
sense, yeah.
Doing this on a weird dance floor, which normally people are bump and grind, and all of a sudden everybody starts doing the pogo, and I'm like, fuck, this is world breaking. This is gonna change some shit, and it did
Yeah.
Yeah.
for several albums. I like this pick.
Yeah, great pick, man. Again, you guys say you keep bringing up you're not guitarists. You don't need to be, because look at what you guys have picked in your guitarists alone. Giant eclectic mix of amazing music
And amazing musicians. Outside of you not knowing how to play guitar, the picks that you've all said were like, those are great.
Now you take three. You take Lindsey Buckingham with Yngwie Malmsteen mixed with Tom Morello. What other show would you get that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
I love it, man. This is great. Great pick.
All right. So my number 3, I was torn. It's Canadian. It's Canadian. So I don't like doing AI, but I did it. Is this person considered a guitar legend? Widely considered a guitar legend among musicians and devoted fans, particularly within rock scene of Canada. Key elements of guitar legend status: a player's player, versatility, mastery, complex compositions, commanding tone. Highly respected. Numerous other guitarists, including Miles Kennedy of Alter Bridge, have spoken highly of him. And one thing that kept coming up when I was looking at this stuff was other artists saying he was criminally underrated. So my number 3 pick is Ian Thornley from Big Wreck.
Wow.
You guys have talked about him a lot. Yeah. And Joe,
Right?
you've been
the new album is fucking phenomenal, dude. I love
it. It is, and you can hear his Van Halen influence in that album, and some of the releases and stuff. And I watched recently, he had about a year ago did a really good interview with Rick Beato. Beato, sorry.
It's funny. I called him Beato the first time I heard him.
Yeah, where Rick says in it, he goes, "I wish you would post more guitar stuff," and Ian's just like kind of shy about it. He starts talking about other guitarists that are better than him. He's like, "Oh, I got a couple of cool things, and I got a couple of tricks with a slide guitar," but that's all kind of basic after that. And then he's so humble, and he starts talking about other guitarists instead of talking about himself, which I think in itself is a legendary move. There's so do you guys know about the Creed cruise?
Yes.
Sometimes. Yeah. So Big Wreck and Default, 2 Canadian bands, were on the Creed cruise this year with Creed and Seven Dust and a couple other bands. And I found a quote from Clint Lowry from Seven Dust and Mark Tremonti from Creed. Mm-hmm. They were apparently watching Big Wreck play, and Clint said every time Ian does a guitar solo, you can just see them look at each other in awe in what he was doing and the respect that they have for him.
That's awesome.
Right.
It is awesome.
So to me, that's legendary.
Yeah.
And to go to what Joe was saying before about music lyrically and stuff, the Rick Beato, fuck, I keep saying it that way. The interview, it's called the Big Wreck Triple Threat, because he's the guitar player, the singer, and the lyricist. He writes most of the songs, right?
For being a singer, it's criminal how good a guitarist he is. It's just
right? No, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
And I'll just say this, Jimmy, you don't have to listen to their entire discography. Just listen to their new album, the second track, Holy Roller, 1,000% Van Halen. Like, not just the solo, I'm talking about the rhythms too. I don't think I've ever heard a rhythm. I'm talking about Vi. I'm talking about all these guys who are, people who are Van Halen-esque. I don't think I've ever heard a song sound like Van Halen that's not Van Halen. that this song
Right.
is.
And his single stuff when he was just Thornley, the band he did, his stuff
Awesome.
is good. It's fucking
Awesome.
good then, like really good.
Yeah, I will say this. That's my biggest joy from this show so far is this band, because their first 2 albums were great, and then this new album, just for me, it was like, okay, nice. They're getting older. Okay, let's take it. And their first 2 tracks, because they were released one at a time, right? I'm like, first one was
Right,
Holy Roller.
right.
What the
So
fuck
the
is
whole album was
this?
released like last week, I think. The whole album
Yeah,
was
last week,
released.
yeah. But the first song was Holy Roller. I'm like, what the fuck is
Right,
this?
yeah.
This is what I've never heard a
Well-
band actually sound like Van Halen without ripping off Van Halen or sounding Van Halen-esque. You know,
Have we talked about the Velvet Revolver connection?
No.
Oh.
So there was there was a couple of stories. One said that he had what was it, rehearsed for the lead singer job, and they went with Scott Whelan. But then I read that he got offered it after Scott left the band, that Slash called him, offered it. He went, auditioned, and the manager asked him if he could do it without playing guitar, and he said he didn't really want to. He didn't want to stop. So he offered them the lead singer role in the band, which would have given more fame.
Oh yeah,
and got his name out there. But because they didn't want him to play guitar, he turned it down basically.
I wonder if secretly they didn't want him to overplay Slash.
Right?
I mean,
exactly
100%. That's what I think. That's what I thought too. That's exactly what I thought. Like,
yeah.
But he was such a good singer that they were willing to have him not play guitar.
Right.
I mean, and that's
what he said. He said, I saw an interview with him where he said, I couldn't think of a day going by where I wouldn't play guitar. Right.
Dude, that is the most rock and roll thing ever. When you turn on probably the biggest gig of your life, because fuck it, I want to play my instrument. I'll keep doing what I'm doing right now. I'm perfectly happy.
One of the things said that it seems like he'd rather like just be like an artist, not have as much shame, rather just like have respect and rather do what he wants, just make a living doing what he wants and not have to have all that major fame.
He's doing what 99.9999% of musicians cannot do.
No.
So,
right.
More power to him. That's great. Great pick, man. That's a great pick.
That's awesome.
Like I said, I cannot. I mean, again, the other day, 3 days ago, we were just driving and this album came on, and Gina's like, "Who is this?" Like, "Oh, this is Big Rex." She goes, "I remember that." I'm like, "Remember, the guys on the show? Oh, that's this band, yeah." And she was digging it. So,
oh yeah, it's so
yeah.
good. I think
It's
I
new
told
album.
you.
Yeah, and if you ever get to see him live or get to hear him do live stuff, I highly recommend it.
Oh, it is.
I will say this: after hearing the first 2 albums, this album has no way. It has no right being this good.
Right?
It really doesn't, because it doesn't even sound like the first 2 albums. It does not at all.
And other than one, I forget who passed away. One of the band members passed away, but all these guys met at school together in Boston. I forget what school they went to, but they all met. And he wasn't even originally a guitar player. He was a keyboardist, piano player.
Of course, yeah. Multi-instrumentist. Fuck him. He's too talented. Move on.
Berklee College of Music in Boston. That's where they all met, and that's where they formed the band Big Rex. They moved to Toronto from there.
Okay.
And he was born in Toronto, born and raised in Toronto.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Great pick, man.
Yeah.
Listen, you two guys. I'm not a guitarist. I can. Yeah, fuck. You guys are doing great picks, man.
Right.
Well, and at first, it's almost like that Canadian idea of like, is it good enough to put on there? Is he good enough to put on there because he's like Canadian? Then these guys don't know him. It's like, well, yeah, he's fucking awesome. All these other fucking amazing musicians love him and talk about him.
You want to know where I thought you were going with it? And I didn't really. I guess my brain wasn't like, well, of course, it's fucking Thornley. Everything you said also describes Rick Emmett from Triumph.
He was number 4 on my list. Or sorry, number 5 on my list.
Yeah,
Rick Emmett's number 5
I
on my
wanted
list.
to get a Canadian on there. I'm like, I gotta put, but I like the other guys just a touch more than Rick. But Rick has the same kind of, for a Canadian guy, you know what I mean, the same kind of
The reason he's not there, the reason Satriani's not there, the reason Steve Vai's not there is because I don't listen to them enough.
Sure.
Yep. You know what I mean? If I listened to them more, then maybe they would have been on the list. And also, I thought maybe Joe would have 1 or 2 of those guys on there.
Right. Same.
Well, I mean, it all comes down to recall. You can speak to what you know.
Right.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You know what you know.
So far, these are. all these picks so far.
That's why I love
that.
Triumph. That's why it was hard for me to not have him on there. But when you started talking about how other people respect him, I'm like, oh, he's going to Rick Emmett. And then when you kept on talking, I'm like, no, oh, of course he's going to 3-4.
Well, and I have somewhat of a personal tie to Rick Emmett because you remember my ex Brittany. Her brother was in a band. He's an excellent keyboardist, piano player, and he went to Humber School College for music, and one of his teachers was Rick Emmett.
See, again, going back to what I said before, all you Canadians
you all know each other.
You all know each other.
Yeah.
We don't have Kevin Bacon, but we have the same degrees of separation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Degrees of
You
every
guys have a
Canadian.
secret handshake.
We
or
have the
a
Canadian
hand
Bacon separation.
Yeah. We just slip each other a little bottle of maple syrup.
Maple syrup, right? I know you know.
Great pick, man.
Kevin,
So my next one kind of goes back to memory of the first time really being I don't know, enamored by a guitar player, and it goes back to one of the first CDs I ever owned. And I love this band. I haven't really talked about them a lot. I think I brought them up a couple times, but it's Mark Knopfler and Dire Straits.
Oh, nice.
Short list. He's on my short list.
It was one of when my dad came home with a portable CD player for the first time, and it was Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen and Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits.
Yep.
CD player
and Money for Nothing and Money for Nothing and Brothers in Arms are both great songs. I love them both. And if you ever get the experience watching or listening to him do either of them live, it's awesome. Yeah. But I got to be honest with you, my favorite song on the album is Sultans of Swing.
Oh, that's a.
And when he does that live too, it's fucking phenomenal. Right?
Yeah.
There's also,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, the other thing I wanted to say, the only thing I forgot, he was the producer and composed the soundtrack to The Princess Bride, which is one of my top 5.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
which is totally makes him a legend to me just for that alone. Just for that alone. Yeah. Anyways, that's my number 2.
No, again, Brothers in Arms, Romeo and Juliet, and Sultans of Swing are always those. They always fight for my number one Mark Knopfler song. But he was literally on my short list, and it's like I couldn't fit him in. But goddamn, another guy, a guitarist, like I said, it doesn't matter what he plays, it sounds like Mark Knopfler. Yeah,
right. Yes,
and another one of those guys. When you talk about other guitarists talking about him, they're in awe.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we had another show a while ago. One of you guys brought up Dire Straits. I can't remember who it was, and we had a long talk.
Might have been me.
Yeah, we talked about the video and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, and my memory, Brothers in Arms is big in this memory, but the other memory, and this is where I might have brought it up, it was prominent in an episode of Miami, one of the Miami Vices. I was a big fan of that.
Right? It's one of those
Screaming in the Night.
It was the Crocus.
What's
that? I have a playlist of albums. It's literally called Perfect Non-Prince Albums, and they're albums I listen all the way through in one playlist. And Brothers in Arms is in that list because that album, front to back. I know a lot of people don't like Money for Nothing. It's a good song. It's a great song. It's got Sting. Come on, but the entire album cohesively is fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
but again, Money for Nothing was another song that I don't know that. And again, the video played heavy, so maybe that's it.
Probably, yeah.
I'd never heard anything like it before at the time.
Yep. No. Yeah. I agree.
I loved on that Money for Nothing. I loved that overdriven finger plucking. I love
the amount of times I air guitared to that as a kid is fucking unbelievable. Right?
Yep. I think everybody did. That was the thing.
But front to back, that album is phenomenal. Right?
Yeah.
Your latest trick and Man's Too Strong.
One of the best sound albums of all time.
Man's Too Strong, man.
It sold an estimated 30 million albums when I was doing the research. He's a 4-time Grammy winner, and I found a way to tie the Dutch in. He won an Einstein Award, which is a Dutch Grammy.
Oh, that's awesome!
Nice.
You love that.
Not a big fan of like we said, the Rolling Stone Top 100, but he's number 27, which I think is a little, could have been a bit higher.
Yeah, I think a little bit higher.
What was
Yeah,
the
I mean, like I
number?
said, he's one of those guys who got his own sound, and
But on top of The Princess Bride, he's done 8 other movies that he's produced or composed, which is amazing. Also produced albums for Bob Dylan, Randy Newman, and Tina Turner.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So legend upon legend upon legend.
Right.
If I can find the picture, I'll send it to Joe for the edit. But I got Brothers in Arms for my birthday in grade 6, and my sister just recently texted me the picture. It's random. It's like, yeah, it's like me opening a gift from my grandparents, and it's like the Brothers in Arms tape. I'm like,
that's wicked.
You know,
You can
when
see
I
my greasy
when I
hair.
hear about, like, you know, you just named off all the accomplishments of Mark Knopfler, it just makes me think: does this guy just shit gold?
Right?
right.
I mean, it's an honest question with a comedic line, but
Well,
the guy, it doesn't seem like he could do wrong.
not only that, when I was talking about how smart these guys are, born in Glasgow, Scotland, graduated University of Leeds, and for 3 years after he graduated, he was a college lecturer, and then decided he founded the band Dire Straits. Like, you know, almost a college professor, but then I'm just going to go like start one of the most iconic rock bands of all time.
And underrated, flies under the radar, like we said. Like, people know Dire Straits, but if you said Mark Knopfler and you aren't, say, a music aficionado, who's that? Well,
Again, like I said, go YouTube one of his live versions of any of those songs I mentioned or any of his stuff.
Oh, he's Dire Straits. Oh, I have like 2 of their albums. Yeah,
God damn,
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
yeah, he's that guy.
He's
Him and his brother.
6 years
Right.
old.
Well, you know, you mentioned, you know, that he was a college professor, and he
Makes
did all these other things. That reminds me of another idol of mine. High school teacher,
Joe Burkle.
technology genius, my best friend. This
Right.
guy
Joe
is
Burkle.
fucking amazing. I mean,
Best editor in the world.
I don't know if I could call it. I don't know if I could call him humble, but just an intelligent motherfucker and amazing guitar player.
Yeah, as long as we're not talking about 87, he's good.
Well, does he remember that?
Did we do a show on 87? I don't think we did.
No.
No, you're too kind, and thank you very much. But you're way too kind, way too kind. But yeah, and this makes me sad because when I see people like Mark Knopfler, 76 years old, it makes me sad because, like, oh God, when I hate to say it, because we keep saying these things, but the day he leaves, I'm like, fuck, really? Mark Knopfler, the guy who, I mean, again, I miss these guys who, he's so prolific. I mean, you remember Dire Straits hasn't been together since 95, mid 90s, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And they only had one more album after Brothers in Arms. And he's been still prolific after that, not only with his solo stuff, but like Chris was mentioning with his movie scores and stuff like that. But I mean, for a guy, like we say it all the time, if you can come up with your own sound, it's impossible.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
But these geniuses do, and it makes sense. I mean, he was a professor, and it makes complete sense that he's a professor at the instrument, right? I mean, it makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Oh, great pick, man. Great pick.
Yeah, great pick.
That's a fucking solid pick.
I have to mark that off my short list because I have a curated list
Your
of
number one?
guitarists for our
My
post show. I take that one off.
My number one, debated a little bit because we just did a show not that long ago about the band, but it's David Gilmour from Floyd.
I knew it was, baby.
When you said they were doing this was my number one, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Not have him on there? Like, seriously.
I know.
At that point, you're just lying.
Right. Unless you disclaim.
Exactly. Unless I made a specific point. But again, I invite you to listen to any live version of Money, Time, wish you were here.
Live at Pompeii.
Tell me he's not just a guitar legend on those solos, right?
What is the 23 minute long instrumental that you were jamming out to for our Pink Floyd show? Please go back.
Oh fuck.
Echoes.
Echoes. It was Echoes. Yeah, I don't generally rock out to the entire fucking song. I do the first, 7 minutes or whatever it is.
The first 7 of the 23.
Right. And the video, it's broken up over 2, but yeah.
Yeah,
So
well,
anyways,
you need to dedicate time, right? For all their
Yeah.
long ass songs.
Yeah.
You need to dedicate part of your day.
well, and like so many of the solos happen before there's a song, a lyric sang,
Yeah.
like right,
All part of the
like,
intro, the 7-minute intro.
nothing really more than that, guys. I mean, I don't know what to say other than what we said. The show. I mean, did we talk about how? I didn't know this. I don't think I remember reading this. That David Gilmour, Roger Waters, and Sid Barrett all went to school on the same street in Cambridge, and that's how they met in high
I don't
school.
think we did.
Wow.
No, I
No.
don't think we did.
And then
Oh,
at one point, Sid Barrett and David Gilmour were arrested together while they were busking together in France after college. Stuff that I was finding when I was doing some digging on Reddit and stuff that linked to articles from the UK.
Wow.
Anyways, I love, you guys know I love Pink Floyd, and I can just listen to him anytime and just feel better about things after listening to him play guitar or sing.
Question for you, Chris, since you're a big Pink Floyd, do you ever listen to his solo stuff?
A little bit.
Yeah, because some of his solo stuff's really, really good.
Yeah. But I
Especially
don't.
last time he had a couple years ago with his daughter.
His daughter, yeah, that one was
Yeah,
good.
really
I was going to say, when I do, it's usually clips on YouTube or I see them online somewhere. I don't go to Spotify and listen to them. Stuff like that. I love watching the clips with him and his daughter. His daughter's actually got a really nice voice.
Yeah, she really does.
She's a good singer.
Yep. And again, I think we talked about a little bit on the Pink Floyd show, but his interview with Rick Beato, just seeing him as a little kid being really interested in like, ooh, this is how I made this sound, and this is how we did this.
Right.
And there was no guard, there was no wall put up. It wasn't like, ooh, I'm David Gilmour. It's like he's just a dude sitting in his studio going, hey, this is how we did this. You want to see how I did this? Oh yeah, I do. Just really
I think
cool.
we said it in the Pink Floyd. He just seems like a nice guy. He just seems like
good dude, man.
Right.
I think he's one of those guys you think you can sit down and talk and not even talk about music and just have a good time with, you know?
Right. Yeah. And if you gave him a guitar after a couple of drinks, he'd just start playing for you. Like, probably, you know?
Hopefully. Maybe.
Yeah.
Be cool to see
up against Roger. He looks like even more of a nice guy.
Right. No, absolutely.
So it is Satan.
Right.
If Satan's punishing the bad people, doesn't that make him a good guy?
Probably.
Anyways, that's my list, guys.
Good list.
Nice.
Good picks.
Pass it off to Joe.
Off to the guitarist.
Well, I'm a guy who plays guitar. So it turns out you guys kind of did the list like I was thinking, because like, yeah, I approached this list one way, and then Jimmy, before we recorded, goes, hey, I got my 4 songs. Like 4 songs? I did 4 guitarists.
Right.
He's like, oh, well, we can do a little bit. Well, it turns out you guys just kind of did guitarists. Well, yeah. But part of my picks was I did pick songs, but I curated them. I'm not going to go into each song. I'm just going to say, hey guys, this on this on this song. So it won't be 20 minutes long. But I picked a song for each one of you.
Oh.
Hopefully you haven't heard them. So, because some of these guitarists you're going to know. And hopefully I tried picking some songs that I think to your liking, and also maybe songs you haven't heard by them. So, so how did Joe, how did Joe pick his guitarists? Like you guys, an infinite amount of guitarists, right? But I picked 4 guitarists that influenced me to play the instrument. We know we have one samesies. We don't know where he's in the list yet. That'll come very clear as we go up the list. But we'll start where I really got infatuated with the guitar when I was a very young kid by a trio that has very arresting music. The Police. Number 4 is Annie Summers.
Nice.
And I also didn't look up really anything with these guys. I just went with just like what I think as far as sounds, what I think as far as ability, and just music and like albums and songs. So I won't get into a history, except for one person. I'll get into a little bit of history just because it's always interesting to talk about his history. But Andy Summers, when I think of him, I think of just really ringing guitar tones. interesting enough, just chords I never heard before, you
Mhm.
know. Reggae. And here's a weird thing. I don't even like reggae. I don't. But he has an element of that reggae-ness in the Police songs. Not really so much in his solo stuff. And we'll get into a little bit of that. But what I wrote down was I think Andy Summers revolutionized rhythm guitar playing in pop and rock, because again, the Police, they're a pop band, right? They just play rock. The creative use of suspended chords, voicings, harmonics, and effects influenced countless artists from U2's Edge to John sorry, excuse me, to John Petrucci, to John Mayer, and where are we at here? And just introduce a completely brand new sound to guitar rock, if you will. Okay.
Yeah.
I did two things with each artist. I did albums to check out and songs. Like I said, I curated for each one of you. So albums to check out from Andy Summers. I said his Police's 1979 Regata de Blanc, 1981's Ghost Machine, but the alternate sequence edition, which came out in like 2023, 22. It's the same album, just in different order that Andy thought was a better fitting. So again, that's the Ghost Machine alternate sequence edition. Obviously, Synchronicity, which is their last and most popular album, but also his solo work, 1983's I Advanced Mask with Robert Fripp of King Crimson, and his 2015 Metal Dog. Those are two really good solo albums. I will say I Advanced Masked is with Robert Fripp is very eclectic, very out there sometimes, but it's really cool sounds. Really good.
Yeah.
The songs I picked for you guys, Jimmy, I picked I Advanced Masked, the title track for you.
Okay.
It's very Police-esque, but with very Andy Summers stuff. If you listen to a lot of Andy Summers stuff, it's kind of like I said, it's very eclectic, very not traditional guitar rock. Chris, for you, I picked Animal Chatter from Metal Dog. This is from his 2015 album, and it's such a good melodic guitar instrumental that he normally doesn't do with his solo work. I know it's a guitarist, but he doesn't do a lot of guitar instrumental type stuff. You would think traditional instrumentals. And then Dink, I'm sure you've heard it, but I still picked Invisible Sun by the Police for you.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think it's just a great dark song for you. I got some cool stuff for you guys for the next guitarist. I think probably a little more appropriate for each one of you. But number 4 is Andy Summers. When he was one of the first guitarists, I heard that I want to learn how to play this instrument. I was like, what is this stuff he's doing? This is cool shit.
Well, the irony on your last statement is Stuart Copeland made me want to play the drums.
There you go. My favorite drummer of all time.
Do you think, so his solo stuff, because I've never listened to Andy's solo stuff, doesn't have that reggae feel. Do you think that was just him with Sting and Stewart together?
Yes.
Or was it Sting that it was influencing the reggae sound?
No, it was Stewart.
It was just
that was Stewart. That was Stewart.
Okay.
Yeah, Stewart's dad was a spy. So if you didn't know this, Stewart's dad was a spy. Didn't know this until years later, of course. But so they lived throughout the world. And so Stewart was they were stationed in many different like southern countries. And so he was influenced by a lot of island and reggae music. And
world
music. World music, if you will. That's where that comes from. Yep.
Okay.
And so I think that was really Andy grabbing onto what Stewart was bringing.
Yeah.
Right. And it gives the Police such a, like, that's a distinct sound for them. In fact, for the people that I know that don't like the Police, that's why.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
But if you glam onto it, it's also the reason why you could love their sound, right?
Sure. Yeah. And that's why
I don't like reggae really either.
Yeah, I don't either. And that's why individually all three of them sound nothing like the Police. They really don't. Now, I will say this, the song I give Jimmy, I Advanced Masked with Robert Fripp, that sounds more like the Police of 1979, 1980 and that album came out in 83. So, but it's a very, if you like Robert Fripp, if you like King Crimson and you like Police, then I think you'll love this album because it's very experimental, very cool. There's some stuff you're like, whatever, but there's some stuff like, wow, that's fucking sonically amazing. Cool.
I'm a
Because
big
again,
fan
there's
of
nothing to like when it comes to
Bruford.
guitarists. So
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Bill Bruford.
yeah,
And
well,
he was a big part of King Crimson.
oh yeah, of course. No, all those guys are amazing musicians.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I approached this list as like I said, the 4 guitarists that I could really come down to really influence my playing and writing. I hate saying that because I'm just a dude in his basement, right? My number I mean, ultimately, right? My number 3, I met this guy in 2015. I was told by everyone everywhere, and when you meet him, he's the biggest asshole in the world. And I'm like, okay. I kind of think I told the story
Can't
before.
wait.
Hey, I'm an asshole too. This is great. We'll get along
This is great. We'll hit it off.
at the time, he
Bigger
was
than me.
Wait, you talking about me? At the time, he was in a band called Devil City Angels with Ricky Rocket from Poison and Brittingham, the bass player from Cinderella. And it was in a little dinky place in St. Cloud, Minnesota, because they wanted to do their what bands did. They just toured and played small places. Well, when I got there, they were all just. It was like 5 regulars at this bar, and then me and my wife walking through VIP tickets.
I remember you telling this.
Yeah. So they were cool. Anyhow, so long story short, it's Tracy Guns, a founding member of the following bands: Hollywood Rose, Guns N' Roses, LA Guns, Contraband, Brides of Destruction, Devil City Angels, and did I mention LA Guns? I said that because there's like 14 editions of LA Guns. Of course, he's had the hits of Ballad of Jane, Rip and Tear, Never Enough, Kiss My Love Goodbye, It's Over Now. And this is what I thought of. Tracy remains respected amongst his bluesy yet flashy style, sharp tone, dedicated to keeping his rock style alive. It's very specific, very dirty, very, as him and I discussed, sloppy. Guitar technique, which I don't think he's sloppy, but I get what he was saying. Quick history for those who don't know. This is really quick. This happens between the years 1983 and 1985. 1983, LA Guns forms. Axl Rose joins the band when their singer quits. 3 months later, their singer comes back. Axl quits. Axl quits LA Guns when the original singer comes back, right? Tracy joins a newly formed Hollywood Rose, which is actually, of course, Bob Rose or Axl Rose's band. The band changes its name to Guns N' Roses. After 2 months, Tracy leaves after an argument with Axl Rose, claiming it just wasn't fun anymore, which seems to be maybe kind of a recurring theme and with that band a little bit. And then, of course, Tracy Guns is replaced by Slash, forming the GNR. Then after that, LA Guns is reformed again. This is what I say his highlights are: LA Guns self-titled from 88, Cocked and Loaded from 89, Hollywood Vampires from 91, and The Missing Piece from 2017. They're still putting out good albums. It still sounds like they're still putting out really good albums for being guys who are in their fucking 60s, man. And also Leopard Skin from this year, 2025, is a very good rock album.
Great album.
I'll go back to what I said before: Devil City Angels, which is self-titled, which is Ricky Rocket, Eric Brittingham, and himself, and I forget the singer's name. Very good singer. But if they were in the 80s or early 90s, this album would have fucking huge because it's nothing but radio rock. It's really good. So, songs listened to: Jimmy, I give you Bad Decisions by Devil City Angels.
All right.
Chris, I give you Over the Edge by LA Guns. And then Dink, I give you, if you haven't heard it yet, It's Over Now by LA Guns.
Oh, I love that song.
Yes, it's a ballad.
Yes, it's a ballad.
I call him the king of sleazy guitar sound. He's not the originator of it, but he was really kind of the one that kind of brought it the forefront. LA Guns at the time, GNR, Faster Pussycat, those are the bands are kind of that sleaze guitar, really unproduced. Even in GNR's first album, Appetite for Destruction, was way more produced than any other band of that time. And then real quick, like I said, when I met Tracy, I told him, I held up I have it somewhere now over here, but I have my first LA Guns album that he signed. I said, this is my 1984. This is my Led Zeppelin 4. I learned every note on this fucking album. And he looked at me and goes, oh, so you're sloppy too. I'm like, yes, I am. He was the nicest guy. Everybody in that band, Ricky Rock included, was very. It's funny, but
So
my
that
wife,
dispelled the whole rumor then that he's a dick.
100%. And my wife's taking pictures, right? And Ricky Rocket, everyone was there. Really, most VIPs were there. Meet Ricky Rocket from Poison, right? He was so engaged to listening to our conversation. The pictures of him looking at me and Tracy talking is like he's so engaged. She's like, "What's going on over here?" It's hilarious. But yeah, number 3 is Tracy Guns. He influenced me to my first. If you heard my first album I recorded, you can tell it's very much LA Guns, very much Tracy Guns solos, left and right. I can still hear every note on his first 4 albums. I mean, I learned every fucking song. Tracy Guns is my number 3. Again, could you pick technically better guitarists like Amy Malmsteen? Yes, but these are the 4 guitarists that influenced me to play guitar. So.
Right.
Oh, so now mine I had a shit pick.
No, no, not at all. No. So I'm just saying. So the 4 people picking guitarists, we all have different approaches to this, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I thought was gonna be a Sanzu Jimmy. Oh yes, go ahead.
Hang on.
All right.
The LA Guns. That is through and through Joe pick. I love this pick, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't even think of him because he was a huge influence for both of us, but in different ways.
In different ways, yeah.
And I love this pick. Absolutely love this pick.
I will say this: they always say never meet your heroes, right? And I've said before in previous shows.
I have stories.
Yeah, you have stories, and I'm glad I never met Prince because that would probably wouldn't have gone well. But I'm glad the few people I have met: George Clinton, Tracy Guns,
George Clinton,
Tiny Tim. They're all very pleasant people, and like I said, Tracy was very nice, very humble. You know. He was more enthused. He thought he almost came off like I was making shit up about him because he was like, "That's not me." But again, his guitar playing is not flashy, and his early stuff it is kind of sloppy or dirty. I mean, you could call Jimmy Page sloppy as well, especially live. Especially live. But there's again when you have a style, and I ended up accidentally copying that for a while. You know, but like I said, I knew every note for those first 3 albums, note for note, every song. Yeah. So I had to pick Tracy Guns. So, and he was fighting for a different musician, and we'll probably talk about in the after show, because I had to leave a couple of people I really want to get in, but you only got 4, right?
Right.
My next 2 are probably one's very predictable because we already talked about him once, but number 2 is not him. Number 2 is I thought I'd have a Sanzu Jimmy because we've talked about him in previous episodes, and I almost left him out because of that, but because my standard was guitarists who influenced me to play the instrument, he had to stay. So number 2 is Jimmy.
Satriani or Steve Vai?
Joe Satriani.
We knew it was coming.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about him a lot in different lists. He comes up all the time for me. Maybe not as much as we comically say about Nuno.
Right, I'm waiting.
I'll say right now, Nuno is not on this list. So there you go. No. So I still think he's probably the first commercially successful guitar instrumentalist. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, Surfing the Alien was. I think at that time, I tried finding it, but I very assuredly remember the fact back in the day, it was saying that Surfing the Alien was the most successful independent record at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find anything there, but that's always been a thing that's been in my head. So I couldn't find anything that would verify that. But of course, he was famous. He taught Steve Vai, Kirk Hammett, John Petrucci, Alex Skolnick from Testament, David Bryson from Counting Crows, Larry Lalonde from Primus, among other people. But my 4 albums to check out are Surfing with the Alien, of course, his debut or his second album, Flying with a Blue Dream from 1989, his third album, Shockwave Supernova from 2015. And Elephants of Mars from 2022 is fucking great. The weird, you think you know somebody? I didn't realize this. For an instrumental guitarist, he's had 7 albums chart on the Billboard Hot 100.
Wow,
7. And how many bands we've talked about have hit songs or hit albums and they don't hit the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah.
Right.
I didn't list those albums because that's what we're here for, but he has also 15 Grammy nominations.
Yes.
He's also composed film and video games, including Crow of the City of Angels in 1996. Songs to listen to: Jimmy, 1989 is the song, not the year. Chris, Sahara. Then when I hear the song, I'm like, oh, Chris is gonna love this shit because it's got like David Gilmour written all over it. And Dink, Time Machine. It's not a ballad.
I love that song.
Yeah, I love playing this song. It's a great song. It's not a ballad,
Time
Dink,
Machine.
but I think you'll like it. So that's my number 2 pick, Joe
All right.
Satriani. The Satcher. Not Satchel, the Satch.
I had Satchel.
I thought about putting him on because I did own Flying in a Blue Dream. Columbia House purchase from Columbia House.
I believe.
You know, if they were still around,
But other than that, I didn't really listen to him, and I haven't listened to him in years. So I'm like, I'm going to go with people that But
I still think you'll like the song Avius Sahara. It's from Elephants of Mars. It's very David Gilmour-esque. It's got a cool rhythm to it too as well. So yeah.
This is like Christmas.
yeah,
I did.
like we don't have enough music to already listen to.
Yeah, exactly. Even though you guys know who this pick is because it's our only Sandsy, I did still pick songs for you guys, even though you probably but they're not going to be the songs you think they are, and you probably have already heard these songs. But still, I had to pick songs for you. My number 1 is Jimmy Page. Why is Jimmy Page number 1? Do I play anything like Jimmy Page? No. I mean, I'm sloppy. So maybe. But Jimmy Page, none of the guitarists on my list would exist without Jimmy Page, like we were saying when Dink picked him. Yeah. Jimmy Page, whenever I listen to Led Zeppelin to this day, I'm just amazed at just the output of every song on every album. There's not a Zeppelin song I don't like.
Exactly.
There's not even I go, it's okay.
Yeah, there's ones you like more than others, but I don't think they have any fat.
And how do you do that? And they're 4 incredible musicians. And yes, the vocalist is a musician in this case. And they put out the material they did. Everyone shined. Everyone had their moment, right?
Yeah.
And to this day, I still don't get sick of Zeppelin. Like I said, I'm so amazed at every album they have. It's just incredible. And then you look at Jimmy Page's second part of his life after Zeppelin. Like I said, we all know where he came from, but the albums I highlighted was House of Holy, Led Zeppelin 4, The Firm, self-titled album from 85, and then 1998, Page and Plant, Walking in the Clarksdale. This album kind of gets shoved underneath because it's a Page Plant album. It's original stuff. Them trying to be Zeppelin. No, I just think it's just 2 guys hanging out that knew each other for years, just doing what they do, right?
Right.
The songs I gave you guys is Jimmy, I give you Shining in the Light. And then Chris, I give you Satisfaction Guaranteed from The Firm. We all know that song, but still, every time when I heard that song, I was like, that's Chris. And Dink, Shake My Tree by Coverdale Page.
Yeah.
Fucking love that song, man.
See, and that album, I know David Coverdale gives us shit because he's always wanted to be, came off, even when he was with Whitesnake, he wanted to be Robert Plant. But do you know what? They did it so well for that one album. It fits. It works.
That album slaps, man. That album's so good.
So good.
And not on streaming services.
No, it's not.
No, it's really not on Spotify. You got to go to YouTube if you want to hear it because I got rid of all my CDs. I should have kept that one and didn't have any.
Apple still has this one thing they barely even support anymore. It's called iTunes Match. Well, they don't even have iTunes around, so it's $25 a year. You upload your songs. If it matches on the store, it adds it to your library. If it doesn't have the store, it uploads the song and so you can listen anywhere. So I can listen to Coverdale Page anywhere because it uploads it because it's, again, like you're saying, it's not on streaming services. But yeah, I think it's one of those albums too that gets lost. It's like it's such a good album.
Oh,
I don't care if he's trying to mimic Page or he wants to be, or if
he does mimic Plant a little bit.
Yeah, but let him do it. I don't care.
But he also sounds like him, and
He
he's a good fit with Jimmy. Like,
And there's so many good songs that
Oh man, that album.
I was trying to find Plant, and it sucked. That'd be one thing, but he's so good at it.
Yeah. It helps that I really love Jimmy, right? So I was like, oh,
I love you too.
This is so good. I got a bone.
We all love you, Jimmy.
So I have two points there. You talked about recommendations of albums. I would highly put Jimmy Page Outrider on that list.
Oh yeah, yes, yes, yep.
Just incredible. Kind of veers off the Zeppelin feeling, but still keeps the Zeppelin feeling. And the other note was David Coverdale. If you listen to Whitesnake '87, he was trying to be Robert Plant.
Oh yeah,
still
a night right there. I was gonna say,
right. Yeah. But as you mentioned last episode or a couple episodes ago, you can almost ignore that because Sykes is so good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Coverdale was smart. He surrounded himself with really good musicians.
Yeah,
always
turned him over like a machine.
Yep,
nice guitar solo.
Sometimes by default, but you know.
Nope.
He knew talent when he saw it.
Nope.
That's my top 4, gentlemen.
That was good, man. And Christmas gifts.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to these. I know one of the songs you gave me. So I'm looking for. I'm going to throw them all on a list and listen to them a couple times. That's awesome. Thank you. That's a really
I just wanted to approach this differently because I knew we'd be talking about the person for once instead of a song, which is the first time we've ever done this, right? Normally we pick a song or an album from somebody. Yeah. I was like, okay, here's something different. I want to try to curate it for each guy because again, when you talk about these 4 guitarists and they're a plethora of fucking music they've done over the years, right? I might should be able to pick somebody that's kind of something like they would like. So
yeah, it's a cool sentiment, and I appreciate that.
So I it's kind of like Christmas, like you said, because I did put a lot of work into that. I was like, think about
this. A neat idea.
This is why, if people you don't know, normally Jimmy and I get on like an hour. We start normally doing this 6 o'clock Central, and Jimmy and I get on like 5:15, 5:30, sometimes 5 o'clock, and we just kind of bullshit until the other guys get on. I didn't get on till like almost exactly 6 o'clock because I was doing my notes for this show because like I need to get everything right. And it was really like picking the right songs and everything else for this. So
Chris and I were in the waiting room for like 45 minutes. We were talking about
hurricanes
going on in the chat. Our chat is just filled with the craziness of Hurricane Melissa going on. So that'll tell you when we recorded this.
I know it's a good episode. I mean, you guys are saying all the time you're not musicians, blah blah blah. But God, I mean, I think that adds to the show because you're adding your own person, what you like. And we wouldn't have the list we have, again, since we are 4 different individuals, Jimmy being his background, my background, we all have different backgrounds. So this list is very eclectic and I think hits every point of the instrument almost, you know?
Well, to add on, to piggyback onto that, you know, again, not to, beat a dead horse, but you guys were talking about, we felt weird being, non-musicians. But every one of those musicians that you mentioned were the highest caliber.
Fucking phenomenal.
Of music. I mean, they weren't just like, again, schlubs. Like this guy down the street plays in the bar, and that's Pete Whitaker. Yeah, exactly. Pete Whitaker, fucking Wales.
Right.
And no, but these lists were all really fucking cool, and all 4 of them, or all 3 of you guys, I had musicians that I had on that list that I wanted to put on there for some reason or another, but I just kind of shelved them. So it was cool to see that you guys had these other musicians.
Only one seems.
And only one. And
one.
I said one on this one. Who said 2?
I said 2. I said 2. I thought you and I were going to have Satriani.
I really thought you and I.
I thought Joe and I would have Lindsay.
He was on my list. I
wanted to have him on there.
Yeah,
I had a curated list of guitars I thought would be mentioned, or I thought should be mentioned, and I had to take a bunch. And Lindsay was on that list. I took them off because we'll talk about it in the after show. But it's like I had so many. Again, it's almost impossible because, like Chris said at the beginning of the show, it's like it's gigantic. You're going from the entire creation of the entire instrument, right?
And we tried to take some out by doing living.
Right?
Yeah, it still wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bunch of people on my list. I on my short list, I was like, God, I left him out. How did I fucking? I had to leave him out.
Yeah.
I did have to search a couple of people to see if they were alive. Just being honest.
A couple episodes, our Halloween episode, you were mentioning I could have gone this, I could have gone this, and you said Jeff Beck, and I'm like, did he die? And I actually had to look it up, and he died recently.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit.
Well, I had the same thing because I was such in this mode of writing guitarists down, right? Because I wanted to get everyone down, and then I got in this whole thing of guitarists, right? So I was like, blah, blah, blah. Alan Holdsworth, I'm like, oh fuck, he's dead already. I had to rearrange it. But I wrote him out on my notes. I'm like, he's dead. I had to erase him. That's where my brain
and have a day on notes. He's deceased. Fuck.
God damn
I'm
it.
ready for the dead guitarist show, guys.
Yeah, no shit. 2027.
It kind of goes to show you how much fucking good music is out there, living or dead.
Yeah.
You're inundated at any point in your life with awesome music. And if you can grab a couple songs here and there and just kind of build a list from that, that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And that's why we do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's what makes us work too, is like I said, we all have four completely different mindsets. And we always come with these very eclectic lists, which I was like, I mean, of course. I mean, like I said, Mark Knopfler was on my short list, and I had to take him off for our after show because, like, of course, Chris picked him. You guys, and see, goes to show you, if you're not Dink or Chris or Joe or Jimmy, you still have an opinion on what somebody plays. If you like the music, then they're good. Anybody can play an instrument, but who can write good music with it? Right.
Yep.
I think that's a good ending there, guys. Great show. Like I said, we could go on and wax forever about my favorite instrument, but and it's not the bass. But like I said, check out our after show because we'll have more guitarists that we'll talk about in a little bit. It's normally like a 10-15 minute show, but check out our after show that comes out typically on Saturdays after the weekly show. But again, if you haven't before, but go to check out justranked.com or justrankpod.com and check out all of our socials. Dink does a great job with their socials, killing it over there.
Killing it with our marketing.
Yep. Free marketing for us. It's great for us. Right. Also check out our podcast. If you're not listening to us, check that out. Also too, make sure you check the bell where you actually subscribe and then hit the bell for notifications like who, Jimmy?
AC/DC.
Thank you. Hit that bell like AC/DC. And my name is Joe. His name is Dink. His name is Kristen and Jimmy. We are Just Ranked, and you can go fuck yourself.
Fuck oneself.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Nice!
He said it! Yay!
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Just Ranked is researched and produced by the Just Ranked crew. Editing and mixed by Joe Burkle. Socials and marketing by DJR Media Services. Theme music by Blue Joker. If you're enjoying the show, please set your podcast app to download new episodes and help spread the word by leaving a review and tell everyone you know to listen.